Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today on Psychos and Sociopaths, we're going to talk about MaryBeth Tinning. Yay, I got it right. Yay. Thank you. MaryBeth Rowe Tinning, which she was born September 11th, 1942, is an American serial killer. In 1987, Tinning was arrested and convicted for the murder of her ninth child, 4-year-old daughter,
4-month-old Tammy Lynn.
Her ninth child, 4-month-old daughter, Tammy Lynn, on December 20th, 1985. Laboratory tests indicated her death result. Let me switch it over to the laptop. So I'm looking at the camera, looking at people, showing my beautiful face. Not looking down the entire time. Laboratory tests indicated that her death resulted in asphyxiation by suffocation. Basically, she choked her.
Yep, asphyxia by suffocation. Yep, she choked her out. Well, suffocated her with a pillow, probably. And I mean, they had been suspicious that she'd been involved with like the death of the other 8 kids.
Yeah.
The nine kids died under her care over 14 years. Causes of death for the first 8 children were thought to be genetic. And then in 78 adopted their 6th child, Michael, who was not a blood relation, died in 81. Authorities dropped the ball on this one too, but they failed to open the investigation, looking into the death. But they started looking at the other deaths, and the Schenectady. I cannot pronounce that. Why can I not pronounce that? Hold on a second.
I'm trying to find out where you're at on this.
I'm just below where you started.
Schenectady.
Schenectady. Yeah, there we go. Prosecutors had only had enough evidence to charge her in one child's death. July of 87, she got convicted of 2nd-degree murder, sentenced to 20 years to life. An appeal of her case in the New York Supreme Court argued that Tinning's confession to the crime was coerced. Schenectady. There we go.
Yeah.
It was coerced, and there was insufficient evidence to convict her, but this appeal was denied. Now, initially, when I started reading into this, and anytime that you deal with a woman who is killing her own kids, you automatically want to jump to the whole Munchausen syndrome thing. But she had a diagnosis of Munchausen by proxy, which is abbreviated as MSBP.
We talked about that today.
Yeah.
What was it? The Rose chick that we did, where the mother did that severely, because she had
the mother was suffering from it, and it ultimately ended up costing her life. But yeah, that whole case there, that was just completely screwed.
Yeah.
But it was unclear as to whether or not she had actually been diagnosed properly. So analyzing recurring events, some believe that her pattern of behavior aligned perfectly. No, this is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, or the DSM-5, development and course section on the disorder. In individuals, quote, in individuals with recurrent episodes of falsification or signs of symptoms of illness and or induction of injury, this pattern of successive deceptive contact with medical personnel, including hospitalizations, may become lifelong, end quote. Now, Tinning was incarcerated at the Taconic Correctional Facility for Women in Bedford Falls, New York. She was denied parole 6 times, granted parole on her 7th hearing on July 2018. She was released on August 21st of 2018. So she's still out and about. She may happen across our podcast. If she does, MaryBeth, we need you on the show. Not to satisfy any kind of morbid curiosity, but I'm just kind of putting it out there that It's one of those rare occasions where the stars align and the moons are in the right phases, the whole 9 yards, if you believe into that kind of bullshit. We just need you on the show so that way we can kind of go, hey,
Pick your brain and find out why you're fucked
pick your
up.
brain. Well, it's not necessarily why you're fucked up because, I mean, obviously a court of law found you to be somewhat, you know, at least what's the word I'm looking for here?
Sane impaired.
Competent enough to have committed at least one of these crimes.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, because they couldn't get her on the other 8.
yeah, no, they couldn't. But I mean, she was born. I mean, she was born. Her parents' name was Ruth and Alton Lewis Rowe, um, Duanesburg, New York. So, I mean, she's born and bred in New York State, kind of girl, right? Little information regarding her formative years are out there, but during some of this time, her father was deployed overseas. So her dad was he was a soldier during World War II, um, or at least a service member during World War II. It doesn't say whether or not it was Marine Corps, Navy, whatever, but he was out there fighting the good fight. Mom was working because both parents were away so much she occasionally shuffled among relatives. One elderly relative brazenly told her that she was an unwanted accidental child. When her little brother reached adolescence, MaryBeth told him, "You were the one they wanted, not me."
See, I never got that. Why do
See,
certain
if I
relatives
had
have
have
to
found
choose
out,
dad?
if I'd have found, if I were to ever find out that I had a family member tell my kids that family member would cease to be,
Family.
they would be dead to me. I mean, they would cease to be family at that point. I mean, because how dare anybody? I don't care if they did it jokingly or not. You're going to tell my kid that, and it's going to affect them in a
Yeah.
very profound negative manner. No, that dog don't hunt. I'm sorry. That's one of those situations where you just kind of want to look at them and go, do you want it in the face or do you want it in the gut? You know, kind of a
Yeah, punchy
situation.
punchy time.
Punchy, and then if it's Thursday, well, you got another choices on the menu because you're just going to catch it in the larynx. But she was an average student, went to Duanesburg High School. She graduated at 61. Following high school, she worked at various low-paying, unskilled jobs. She eventually settled on a job as a nursing assistant at Ellis Hospital in Schenectady, New York, 10 miles north of Duanesburg. She was on a blind date with some friends in 63. She met Joseph Tinning on that blind date. He was quietly happy-go-lucky. That's what it says here. They got married in 65. Their first child, Barbara, was born in May of 67, followed in January of 70 by Joseph Jr. 71, MaryBeth's father died of a sudden heart attack. 74, MaryBeth's husband, Joseph, was admitted to the hospital with a near-fatal case of barbiturate poisoning. Later, he and MaryBeth acknowledged that when the incident occurred, their marriage was in heavy turmoil. This led to her placing barbiturate pills, which she took from a friend with an epileptic daughter, into Joseph's grape juice. He declined to press charges against his wife.
And barbiturates are essential nervous system depressant.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there going, oh, okay. So, yeah. Anyway, so moving on. So with their kids, December 26th of 71, Jennifer Tinning's third child was born at St. Clair's Hospital. She had hemorrhagic meningitis and multiple brain abscesses that developed in utero. Jennifer lived for only a week and never left the hospital. She died on January 3rd in 1972. So that one would probably be the most actual legit, death of the 9 kids.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, after Jennifer's death, Tinning took 2-year-old Joseph Jr. to Ellis Hospital emergency room in Schenectady, claiming that he had experienced a seizure and choked on his own vomit. He stayed in the hospital for several days under observation before being released when doctors found nothing wrong with him. On January 20th, a few hours after his release, she brought him back, and the boy was dead on arrival, and his death was attributed to cardiopulmonary arrest. So, I mean,
basically cardiac arrest.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
basically a heart attack.
On this, it's starting to like seem like she's getting away with murder on a lot of these stuffs. I mean, she's just trying to
Yeah,
be a baby maker, and if the person like leaves, she gets rid of the kids.
right. Kind of a thing. I mean, because it's one of those. Either she was doing it like, if I can't have them, nobody can have them. Kind of a situation. I don't know. We'll get into that here in just a minute. But a couple of weeks later, March 1st of the same year, Mary Beth rushed Barbara, almost 5 years old now at this time, to the same emergency room. Said she had gone into convulsions. Next day, Barbara died after being in a comatose state for several hours. Her death was attributed to Rye syndrome, which it's a brain disease. Um, it may include vomiting, personality changes, confusion, seizures, loss of consciousness. While liver toxicity is typically occurs in the syndrome, jaundice usually does not. Death occurs into 20 to 40%. Hold on a second. 20 to 40% of those affected, and about a third of those who survive are left with a significant degree of brain damage. So, I mean, and so, yeah, I don't think that there's anything that could bring that on other than, genetics or, I mean, it would have to be a genetic thing,
Yeah.
whether it's a missing chromosome, something, something's not right, in the DNA sequencing for that particular kid. But Mary Beth was 29 at that time. Um, on Thanksgiving Day in 73, she gave birth to son Timmy. On December 10th, Timmy was brought back to the same hospital dead. She told the doctors she found him lifeless in his crib, and so they chalked it up to SIDS. Um, March 75, Tinning's fifth child, Nathan, was born. That autumn, he died in the car while out with Tinning. They
What
didn't
time frame
get
was that?
March of
March.
75.
Uh,
No, well, no, see. Yeah. So he was born in March, and later that year, so in like the autumn, September, October, November timeframe, um, he died in the car while out with her. So either she left him in the car,
I'm
or
thinking that.
maybe, yeah. So um August 78, the Tennings adopted newborn Michael. And on October 29th, Mary Beth gave birth to her sixth child, Mary Frances. Um, in January 79, Tinning rushed Mary Frances to the emergency room directly across the street from her apartment, saying that the baby was having a seizure. The staff was able to revive her, reporting an aborted SIDS. A month later, Tinning returned to the hospital with Mary Frances in full cardiac arrest. She was revived, but had irreversible brain damage. She died 2 days later after being taken off of life support. Their eighth child, Jonathan, was born in the fall of 79 and died in March of 1980 after being kept on life support in Albany, New York for 4 weeks.
You remember that one case? I only bring it up only because I looked at it because I was thinking about doing it on What the Hell episode. It was that one case in I think 2003 that it started, to where a woman was on life support and she had irreversible brain damage, and because of Florida law and everything, they
Talking
couldn't
about that
take her.
Terry Schiavo case?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I saw something about that today, and I was like, you know what, that would make for. I don't know if that would necessarily make for like a psychos and sociopaths, but
I
I
was
think
thinking,
that
what
that
the
would.
hell?
Yeah, I was just
Because
saying that.
I mean, hands down, if I'm on life support and everything, I told all my friends, if it's brain damaged where I'm in a wheelchair and everything, I hate to tell you this right now, but someone's gonna have to hold a yeller at me, because that's happened. I mean, you'll be sad, but you're gonna have to do it,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
I don't want to live that life. I don't want to live a life to the point to where the only reason why I'm alive is so people can know that I'm still alive.
yeah.
'Cause I think
I
that's kind
mean,
of greedy.
I don't think I want to fill out a DNR, yet. I mean, at a certain point, when I get to a certain point in my life, and I'm talking 90 plus, right? If I'm having to rely on a machine to keep me alive for, any longer than say a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
now let that couple of weeks go. If I'm not showing any signs of improvement, just pull it,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. Because, it's one thing to live a long life, but and it just may be because, we're getting older and getting wiser and everything like that. But I would rather have a life that was, to me, a life that's loved is a life well lived, as opposed to just quantity. I mean, I'm by no stretch of the imagination Methuselah or Lazarus or anything like that. Um, I mean, is it possible that we could live past 110? Maybe with medical technology, but I don't know
Yeah,
that
I
I'd
don't,
want to.
I,
I mean, if I was able to keep myself pretty spry, I mean, not a spring chicken by any means, but, just able to move around and I was able to perform certain things by myself. I mean, sex after the age of 90, let's just put it this way. That's it's probably going to be
ugly,
the
ugly.
last thing on my mind. Yeah, it would be it wouldn't be bumping uglies at that point. It'd be bumping saggies, right? But
Yeah.
I all that aside, if I was able to perform everyday tasks like, get up, go to the restroom without having to empty a bag or, pour my own damn coffee, and I was able to move around, whatever, and I was coherent, great. But I don't want somebody to have to take care of me. I don't want somebody to have to like change my diapers and shit like that, and to me, I just couldn't do it. But that's our off track for this episode.
No, we'll get
Way
off
off
track.
track.
We'll get off
Yeah.
track later on.
Yeah,
But
we will.
but
But
but yeah.
yeah,
Uh
so with uh in February of 81, Michael fell down some stairs and suffered a concussion. Um March 2nd, Tinning took him to the doctor because he wouldn't wake up. He was already dead when Tinning brought him into the doctor's office. And since he was adopted, the long suspected belief that the deaths in the Tinning family had a genetic origin were discarded. Um, Now, Tammy Lynn was born on August 22nd of 85, but on December 20th, she died from being smothered. I mean, that's legit, right?
yeah.
So, and on the day that the Tinnings were visited by Betsy Mannix of Schenectady County's Department of Social Services, and by Bob Imfeld of the Schenectady Police Department about Tammy Lynn's death, causes of the children's death were listed um, diversely between natural, undetermined, and of SIDS. 6 autopsies of the Tinnings children took place after Tammy Lynn's death, but they did not reveal any signs of abuse. They were suspicious and community whispers of foul play, but prior to Tammy Lynn's passing, there had been no suspicion found in any sequence of deaths. So there were so many of us in on it, I guess, said Dr. Robert L. Sullivan, the Schenectady County's chief medical examiner. If anyone is negligent, I suppose I am. I probably should have said there must be more to it than this, but we all think and don't do it. So, I think had she not smothered Tammy Lynn, I
She might have
think
gotten away with it.
she might have gotten away with it. Now, with the kids that died of medical conditions, I think that and those might have been legitimate, because that's not something necessarily that you can kind of fake, uh, especially with the Ray syndrome. But I don't know with the adopted kid Michael being pushed in, I think he might have been pushed. Oh, he fell down the stairs and got a concussion, and now he won't wake up. Well, that's why you don't let a kid fucking go to sleep with a concussion. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody knows that that's the rule. You don't go to sleep, I mean, until you get cleared, right?
And she was part in the medical field too, which she
Yeah,
should have known that.
she was a nurse's aide. So I mean, I'm not saying that she knew, because now I have met and I've known a lot of nurses that are very proficient in their jobs. And in a lot of situations, a lot of them are more proficient and knowledgeable than the doctors that they work for.
Hmm.
So, I'm not saying that, it was a situation where she, um, uh, um, it's not a situation where I think she had enough knowledge just to be dangerous. Um, i.e., with, how to get around being caught by by an ME. I mean, it through pathology, toxicology. That's too broad of a knowledge base for
Yeah.
somebody to be completely proficient. So, I mean, I would be almost willing to bet that, like I said, the kids that passed of um medical, what they say, like SIDS or whatever, sure, fine. Ray's syndrome, absolutely legitimate. The one that never left the hospital, her for their first baby,
Hmm.
sure. Um, there was what was it? It was the well, Timothy, right? They said SIDS. Um, she brought him back. Mary Frances, right? Okay, no, Mary Frances. They revived her twice. I think maybe the second time, or maybe the first one, Timothy, the one that they brought back to the same hospital dead. I don't know if shaken baby syndrome was so much of a known thing back then,
Hold on.
because you never really heard about shaken baby until like the 90s. And then they figured out that there was a way that they could look to see if capillaries and like blood vessels had become detached,
Hmm.
so I think once they figured out how to look for that, then yeah, that became a thing. Um, so I don't know. I don't want to give her a complete pass on all of the kids. I mean, obviously she can't honestly be held responsible. Um, um, and the latest news is that the Ukrainian forces lost control of Chernobyl.
Uh-oh.
So the Russians are back in control of Chernobyl. So whether or not they do anything with it, don't know. Um,
Are you talking about the
the nuclear plant that melted down, then when
yeah,
they've got that big concrete dome over now over the
yeah.
reactor that breached, the one that's home of the elephant's foot, the basically the melted slab or blob of uranium slash steel that's so radioactive that there's only one known picture taken of it, and the person who took that picture died.
Died.
Yeah, like they can't even put a camera on a remote around the corner because it's so radioactive that it burns anything that comes near it.
Actually, it started in 1974 with the baby shake syndrome.
Okay, well maybe they just didn't know to look for it back then. I don't know.
Yeah, because this is like still in the 70s and everything. I mean, it all
Yeah,
started like in more or less the 71.
right. But yeah, so I mean they arrested her. There was it was during they arrested her. Her and her husband were both taken separately to the police department and questioned about Tammy Lynn's death. So during the investigation, Mary Beth signed a document confessing that she murdered Tammy Lynn, Timothy, and Nathan. Um, she was arrested and charged with Tammy Lynn's murder. Police officials initially suspected that she died, or that Tammy Lynn died of SIDS. But Michael Baden, who was the lead forensic pathologist and the member of the state police's special forensic force or unit, determined that Tammy Lynn died from smothering. After charging Mary Beth with Tammy Lynn's death, officials said that they considered the deaths of the 8 other children to be suspicious. Investigators later said that Jennifer's death was not suspect because it occurred before the baby left the hospital. Mary Beth made her $100,000 bail payment and was released from custody until her trial date. The trial started in Schenectady County June 27th of 87. Dr. Bradley Ford, Tammy Lynn's pediatrician, testified on behalf of the prosecution, stating that Tinning had dismissed his suggestion that due to her previous children's death, that she should install a specialized alarm device enabling the monitoring of the baby's breathing and heart rate. 2 additional prosecution witnesses, Dr. Maria Velez de Panda of Miami, Florida, president of the SIDS Foundation, and Dr. Thomas Oram, the medical examiner who performed Tammy Lynn's autopsy, said that they diagnosed that Tammy Lynn was smothered to death with a soft object. After the 6-week trial, the jury deliberated for 23 hours across 3 days, leading to the conviction of Tinning, who was 44 at the time, on 1 count of second-degree murder. During their deliberation, jurors called for a readback of the portions of Joseph Tinning's testimony, recounting that his wife's alleged confession to the state police. In his testimony, Joseph said that he had had a 5-minute conversation with Mary Beth after the police questioning, and she told him, "I killed Tammy." She was acquitted by a 7-man, 5-woman jury on the account of deliberately causing the infant's death, but was convicted of murder by depraved indifference to life or human life.
Yeah, even now that she's released, she still has like a patrol. She has to be I had it here a second ago. After she served her 31 years of her 20-year life sentence before being granted parole, Tanning, Joseph was supported her through her imprisonment, was present for release. As part of her release, Tanning was to remain under patrol supervision for the rest of her life.
Yeah, so she's
The
basically
Department of
on
Corrections,
parole.
yeah. The Department of Corrections spokesman
Yeah, she's got a
stated
curfew and must attend domestic violence counseling
for the rest of her life. But it's one of those people that she shouldn't have fucking been released. I mean,
well,
life
okay,
imprisonment.
so, and here's the thing with probation, with parole, depending on what the lawyer does, she can appeal for like a dismissal from probation. If she completes all of her training, she's current on all of her court fees, current on all of her probation or parole payments, rather. She comes up clean on drug tests, site visits, things of that nature. There's certain criteria that can be met. Now, whether or not she'll get it, completely different story. But I will guarantee you this much. They are not to be, as a couple, allowed to be around children.
Yeah, definitely.
And I from a biblical Christian standpoint, I kind of want to maybe commend Joseph a little bit here. Because he stayed by her side the whole time. He was supportive of her throughout her entire time. He was there for her release. Whether or not they're still together, I don't know. It doesn't say. But I mean, he tried to poison her. She tried to poison him.
Yeah, that's kind of
and he's stuck with it, and it's like, okay, what, I don't know if that is just sheer stupidity or if it is a testament to the type of character he has. And by that, what I mean is that through the better for worse, thicker, what I mean, for sickness and health, for, richer for poor. I mean, this guy legitimately took his vows seriously. Um, so
I'm one of those people is for the death to us part thing. If you try to ramp it up with poison, I'm
right,
fucking out.
right, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's still death do us part, but if you're slipping, yeah, I mean, because the Bible allows for only a very select few amount, number of provisions that would be grounds for divorce.
Yeah, I think if she's trying to kill you and you haven't done anything stupid against her, she's just, that flavor of the month type deal. Uh yeah,
Right.
you need to go ahead and just, cut your ties. Cut just cut them
Yeah, exactly.
with the
Cut the ties.
chainsaw
Right.
and
Yeah,
torch
with a
that
chainsaw.
motherfucking tie so she can't get to you. Then
Right.
move to a different state or county or somewhere you're never going to be able to go over there ever again.
Right. And
Kind of a
I don't know.
witness protection type deal.
Well, I don't know so much witness protection, but I mean, you can definitely move across the country. Um,
That's still like the
it's I don't know, but I mean, kudos to him. I mean,
mm,
he he stayed when a lot of people, and probably myself included, would not have.
I wouldn't stay.
I mean,
It's just that whole I still care about you. Didn't she try to poison you? Yeah, but she didn't succeed. So she must have still liked me a little bit and loves me.
kind of want to maybe
The
see if he
fuck?
gets examined for like Stockholm syndrome.
Yes.
But
It's like, hey, dude, blink once or twice. Blink once for no, blink twice for yes. Are you captive? No.
like, does Patty Duke ring a bell? It's like, come on, bro. But yeah. So I don't know. This one,
It kind of hits hard because it's still one of those things. As I was doing the math and everything, she was like in her 30s. The whole 30 to 40 type shit kind of messes a woman's brain up and everything, where they do stupid weird shit. That, and she actually had uh a couple of deaths before that, to where like what was it, the first child was don't man, I totally blanked out on that one.
oh, hey,
But
so next week, if we wanted,
yeah,
along the same lines of women who kill their kids, Marie No, N-O-N or N-O-E, she was convicted June of 99 for murdering 8 of her kids between 1949 and 1968.
okay.
So, let me drop the link
There was
for you
one I
there.
found. There was one I found that was like she killed like 14 of her kids. Because we need to, since it's February, we need to do the love month. Mostly women. We've been doing guys, but there's women killers too.
We screwed up, man. We did. I think we screwed up.
What is that?
February's Black History Month. We did not do a black serial killer.
Yeah, we can do one after this one. But no, after this one would be
No,
March.
next week will be March.
Yeah, we're assholes.
We are. But yeah.
I didn't even
So
think about that. I run through the days and everything. Here lately, I've been running too much into the days and everything, and not not realizing what day it was.
right.
The
But
only way I get a verification what day it is when you say it's like, oh, I'm getting my kids this weekend. Fuck, is it almost Friday?
yeah, I get the boys for a little bit tonight. And then I think regardless as to what scheduling looks like, um, I think I'm probably gonna go. Well, no, there is no probably. Um, yeah, I'm gonna tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. I think I'm gonna turn the car south and go see my woman. So I just sent that link from Marino over to you.
Okay. All right, I
I
got
got
it.
smart, sent it to the laptop this time. Um,
Why did I get
but
it?
I don't know. Well, because like you do the whole sync thing with your messages.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No. Should I do a horrible story? I'm about to. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
this person, Britt Ridley or Radley, just messaged me. It's like, hey, David, I see we have Curtis as a mutual friend. How do you know him? Please tell me you have some good stories. We're going to have some fun with this.
Yeah, do it.
And
Absolutely.
live in air.
Well, not live. It's being
Well, yeah,
recorded in
record
front
it.
of it's being recorded in front of a live studio audience. Isn't that right, people? Yeah, see, there they go. And then they put up the applause button. Yeah, there you go. I mean, should David? I want the crowd's opinion. Should David do this? I mean, should he
David's going to do it
basically
anyways.
ruin?
David doesn't listen to anybody else.
What about you, Kool-Aid man? He's going to send this message. What do you think?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Peter, I'm in the wrong Springfield. Let
How do you spell cousin? Cousin. There we go.
Cousin.
Yep.
Well, it's currently 26 degrees outside. 10-mile-an-hour wind. That is brutal.
Was it the dryer or was it the dishwasher we blew up? Dryer. Okay, here's what it says. One, I am so upset that you are with my lover. But me and Curtis, I told her the story about how this is Curtis and me started hanging out when he comes into town and everything when because his cousin uh Candy is one of my best friends.
Mm.
And we were moving her out of her apartment into the house that she bought. Me and him started looking at the stuff that we had because we had it was either the dishwasher or dryer and this bookshelf. I was like, what if we just tie it up to this? And we strapped it and everything. And I couldn't find all the straps my dad has in his truck. So I was like, this is strapped good enough. So we were coming from Burke to Missile Road. And as soon as we got on the highway, the bookshelf and the dryer didn't make it. So we're trying to pick up this dryer or washer, and 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 we put it back on, and we get to the place. It's like, hey, Candy, we're sorry, but your dryer didn't make it, and neither did your bookshelf. She starts sobbing and going, that was my grandfather's bookshelf that I'll never see again. I was like, me and Curtis looked at each other going, we fucked up. We severely fucked. She bought that at Walmart.
Oh, so she got y'all.
Oh, she had it. She had his wrench. I was like, Candy, I'm so. I was crying. Me and him were crying. We were holding each other, crying. We're like, oh dear God, we won't go. What are we gonna do? And throughout the whole freaking day, I was trying to put this one thing back together and everything, and I was like, it just the bed that was in the bedroom, it just fell apart. I hooked it up and everything, and I just moved it like a foot, and
Right.
he saw this. I was like, hey, help me move this up a foot so it's away from this window while I put this stuff up. He's like, okay. As soon as we grab this freaking bed and move it, it falls apart. At that point, I'm dying laughing because I think it's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
And so Britt, if I'll send you this, and you'll get the nif of the GIF on the last part of this. And
Did you say GIF?
Yeah, you nif of the GIF. You never heard of that? Is that a saying I've been saying?
You'll get it in a GIF, but if you're talking about GIFs, like the little things you send it, no, okay. Yeah, I've heard you'll get it in a GIF.
Nif of the GIF. I've always said that. Nif of the GIF.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But every time he's in town, me and him hang out. We'll go to dinner and everything. It's freaking hilarious. It really is. It's so fun.
Yeah, see, it's 27 degrees outside right now. It feels like 23 with a 7-mile-an-hour wind. It's too friggin' cold and probably the perfect day to drag your butt back to bed.
I need to find out why my heating blanket's not working. Of course, we're not getting, well, after Monday, we're supposed to get in the 70s again. So springtime is Monday.
Yeah. It hasn't been Easter yet. We'll probably get one more blast before Easter.
Yeah, probably. But anyways, I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Johnny Skelton.
And thank you for watching Psychos and Sociopaths, MaryBeth Tipton.
Victory!